Hi all, welcome to my YouTube channel. So today's tutorial is very simple and we're gonna learn about how to use a wax stick to create this pretty artwork. So the waves that you can see in the artwork are created using a stick, right? So let's jump right into it. So I'm using this white foam board. I have ordered this one from Amazon. This is pretty quick, pretty lightweight, and I will be using it for sticking my watercolor paper using a masking tape. The other supply that you need is a pencil eraser and a scale for drawing a borderline. We can talk about some brushes. So I'll be using a couple of these brushes, which is one of my flat brushes. This is a big flat brush, 3/4 inch. The other one is a 1/2 inch flat brush. Then I'm gonna use some of my round brushes, right? So you can choose somewhere between 4, 6 or 8. Any of that size is fine. And yeah, that's it about the round brushes, right? Then what you're gonna need is 2 jars of water. So remember, 2 jars of water whenever you're working with watercolor. One jar you're gonna use for all your dirty brushes, the other jar for clean water. Okay, so now let's talk about the colors that I'm gonna use. So I have all the colors out in my palette. So these are all the blue colors that I have in a palette, and I'm gonna use these colors. I'm just gonna name these colors for you so that you understand. So this is my azure blue, this cerulean blue, cobalt blue, indigo. Then I have some bright blue, and then mint color, and then turquoise blue. Okay, if you don't have a turquoise blue, don't worry about it. You can mix your green in your blue shade, azure blue or cobalt blue preferably, and you can get that turquoise blue shade. Okay, now the next thing that we have is the paper. So I'm gonna use this chitrapat paper, which is a handmade paper of 440 GSM. This is a cold pressed chitrapat paper, and this is of A5 in size. Okay, so I've showed you the masking tape earlier, right? I'm gonna use the same masking tape and stick all the 4 corners of my paper on this foam board. Now why are we doing this? Because whenever we are working with watercolors, I'm going to put a lot of water on the paper and the paper will start buckling up. Now when I secure my paper from masking tape, with the help of masking tape from on all the 4 sides, what I'm basically is doing is I'm avoiding my paper to buckle up. It will still buckle up, but then it will not interfere in my process. The other way of working with watercolor paper is you basically wet both sides of the paper and then work on the paper, or you stretch your watercolor paper very well in advance before making an actual artwork. Now stretching up your paper takes a lot of time, and my recommendation would be to go and stretch your paper a couple of days in advance, at least 1 day in advance, so then your paper is very straight and you can use it for your painting. Okay, so I have searched a very simple reference picture for you, and I've just searched from Pinterest only. So this is the reference picture, and we're gonna use the paper vertical in size, right? What you want to decide is that horizon line, right? So horizon line is where your eye meets the landscape, right? That's your intersection point. That's your intersection point between your sky and the land. That's your horizon point, right? So what is recommended is, so what you see right in the artwork, your horizon line is basically half. So your sky is on the top, and the bottom is your water. But then during the artwork, I'm gonna keep my horizon line little to the up, and then the bottom part I'm gonna leave it for my board. So we're gonna sketch it. Okay, we will just create the sketch of the board. For your reference, I'm gonna attach this image in the description section of the video, so you can go ahead and then sketch it properly. Okay, if you guys have challenges sketching, please let me know in the comment section, so next time I'll be able to provide a detailed step by step on drawing the sketches. As of now, I'm also drawing. You can just follow along, keep a reference on your side so you know what you're drawing. Now you don't have to capture all the details, just capture the necessary details that are needed for your artwork to stand out, and that's it. So once your sketch is complete, right, just make sure that the horizontal line is straight. And what we are gonna do, if you can see, right, there's a wave very near to our horizontal line, right? So I'm gonna make another line at the bottom, and as you all know, we are gonna use wax stick. Okay, wax stick, white plain transparent wax stick, for creating those waves. In case you don't have a wax stick, what you can do is you can use a white crayon also, or white oil pastel as well. That all do the job. Or in case you have a white candle at your home, you can try using that. All works. I have tried from my side, and everything of that works. Okay, so I do have a white candle or a wax stick, so I'm gonna use same, and then we just spread it, right? So you just rub it along those shorelines. Just remove your pencil line so that it doesn't show up. So yes, you can see I have a candle which is a transparent wax stick, right? So we're gonna use same thing. We just rub it along the horizontal line in some random manner so that it forms a wave. So I'm just going up and down motion, and we will draw that wave. Okay, now you're wondering that this could have been done with either way also, right? This could be done using masking fluid also, or you can use white gouache at the end, right? This one drawback to using wax stick is that once the wax stick is in, you can't paint over it using watercolor. The paint will not go on top of it, right? So if you want to make a transparent flower or something that you're looking for, then I won't recommend using a wax stick. Wax stick is something that you really want to use if you want to leave that white space in your paper. Okay, so yeah, let's go. I'm just gonna correct few of my sketch here and there, and we'll dive right into painting it now. So we'll be dividing this into two sections, and we're gonna paint the sky first, right? So you just wet that above horizontal line, whatever the area was, right? You just wet that using your big flat brush. Wet it completely. So what you're doing is we are picking up clean water on our brush and then just going over the paper back and forth. Now you want to do it couple of times because you want to make sure that the water goes inside the paper and there's none of the paper which is like without the water, right? Also, we don't want to have puddles on the paper, so please check very nicely. If you have puddles, you will see me removing those puddles and then washing it on my cloth, right? Paper cloth. So now let's start by painting the sky, and for the sky I have shown you my blue palette, right? So I'm gonna mix few colors here and there. We'll start with some cerulean blue mixed with azure blue, some blue light, right? So you're gonna pack this whole sky, and what I'm doing is I'm doing a motion, right? So I'm going from left to right to left basically, right? You'll always see me going from out to in. Okay, so that is a motion that we want to follow here, and I'm going to show you as an example as what so it's a tick mark, right? So it's flick motion basically, right? So that is I'm doing. Always go from out to in, out to in, out to in, right? That's the motion that we want to follow, and then we want to make all these skies on the upper part of the paper. Okay, so we continue doing that, and you can have mixture of color, right? So you can take ultramarine blue, azure blue, bright blue, so all these colors, and then make sure that your horizontal line is a straight line, right? Because there's a wave near to it, we're gonna make a very clear division between our sky and the water. Okay, now you also have to remember is that once the watercolor dries up, it dries about a 1 or 2 shade lighter. Okay, so if you are planning on making something vibrant, something dark, make sure that you are using the right amount of watercolor ratio. If you are not sure about what I am talking about, please leave in the comment and I'll try to do a next video which explains about the water ratio. Okay, now let's do the wave. So we want to make everything one color, which is aqua green, blue aqua color, right? So we're gonna do that color and then wet everything. What you have to remember while wetting is just leave that thin line above the horizon or where you have drawn the wave, right, using the wax stick. So just leave that line. Why we want to leave that line? Because if I wet that area also, my sky color will start bleeding in and it will just get mixed up and will not get very crisp line that we are looking for actually. Okay, now wet the whole paper and very carefully all around the boat. We don't want to touch the boat. Okay, so for the boat color, as we have seen in the image, right, reference image, it is something aqua blue, mintish blue kind of color. Okay, so we're gonna mix these two colors and then start. But then you also remember that there's a line below the wave which is kind of very dark, right? So we have to maintain that. So now if you are not comfortable with your big brush, take your small brush. I am also using my small brush here. Okay, so see, what I am doing is I am just taking the color and trying to draw it over the wax that we have here, right, over that wax stick. But as you can see, it is just not going, the color is not going above the wax stick mark, right? So it just leaves a clean border of what we wanted above it. But then there is no color on the wax stick, and because of the way that I drew the wave, it is actually looking like a wave, right? So there's no color that is above it. Now with wax stick, you don't want to remove it, so we don't have to remove the wax stick. We can just leave it on the paper because anyways there's no point of removing it, right? There's no color over it. And yeah, so it just lies in there and creates a white background or white, exact paper white that we always wanted it, right? It's just paper white. Okay, so now what we have done is we just picked a very dark color and then blended it, create a very smooth blend of that color by dragging the color down, right? So in and around the wave, we want to make sure that there is a darker waves around that, right? And then there are waves, lot of other waves also, right? So you can see me, I'm trying to draw some waves, right? So you can also check the reference picture. If you want to keep it clean, it's your wish. If you want to draw some waves like I'm doing, you can go ahead and draw some waves. Again, the same thing for the waves also. So just follow that motion out to in. Okay, out to in. And if you are and then the areas around the ship, right, around the boat, not ship, sorry, around the boat are gonna be pretty dark. Why? Because it is casting that shadow on the water. The boat is casting a shadow on the water, because of which the underneath water has become quite dark, right? So that's all shadow that is there around the boat. I'm again repeating that you don't have to worry about colors being darker over there, because watercolors tend to go light when they dry up, and this will become light. So you don't worry about that waves are looking too darker, it will not dry up, it will not look good and things like that, right? So yeah, just don't worry about it. Okay, so I know that there is no wave at the bottom, right? But I'm just trying to give some effect. It is not necessary that we want to follow the exact same thing that is given, right? So you can change the area around the board, add more ripples on the top, right? So as you are comfortable, you can do that, right? So I'm gonna add some ripples on the top, make some wavy motion around the boards and things like that. Okay. So basically it's your judgment call as in how you want to read the reference image. It also depends upon your style of what you're comfortable with, right? But yeah, the image actually also shows that there are a lot of darkish tone around before the boat, right? There's a lot of dark tone, so you can follow that. And then we want to have a very smooth horizontal line, and that is why I'm going forward. But then I realized that my page was very wet and my color has bled. So yeah, so I'll come back to it once it is completely dry, and then we'll redo the horizon line. Okay, so now my brush doesn't have any kind of color, but I'm just going back and forth to give that motion and that effect on the water. Okay, there's no color on my brush, and it is kind of a dry brush I'm trying to do to get that impact. Okay. Now we just leave it dry. I just want this to completely dry, and then we can come back. Okay, so now when this is done, it is completely dried up, you can see that the horizon line has gone for a toss, right? So I'm gonna redo it. And now when you are redoing it, we are doing wet on dry. So what that means is my brush is wet but my paper is dry. Okay, this is the wax stick that we used, right? So it doesn't go, the color doesn't go on top of it. Whatever I do, it will not go. And we don't have to remove it also, as I told you, right? You don't have to remove it. That's the paper white. That's the white of your painting. Okay, now let's start by correcting. So my color has somewhat bled onto that boat, which I'm trying to remove, but yeah, I know that we'll just cover it when we start painting it. Okay, so we're gonna do the boat now because our sky and the water is done. If we think that we want to do the water again, we'll come back, but as of now I think it's done, and we'll shift to our boat. Okay, now you can check the reference image and see the area that are blue on the board. You can do the blue color, and then there is some burnt umber, burnt sienna, yellow ochre. So you see that's a metal boat, right? Basically it's a wooden or metal combined boat which has lot of rust in it. The wood has also damaged by overuse of it, right? So all those effect we want to give in the boat also, and then we just follow along. Okay, so you see that the back of the boat has different shades, right? So first of all, let's do the base color, and then we'll see of how we want to cover that rusty part of the boat. Guys, if you're enjoying this session and you want me to make more of these kind of lessons, please subscribe to my channel, give this video a like, and post a comment of what you would like to learn next. So there's a lot of techniques around watercolors, right? And as of now, I'm just talking from the fact that I'm assuming a lot of people will know about the basic, but you're someone that you don't know about the basic, please leave a comment so that I can make some videos around the beginners and basics on watercolor. Okay, so what I'm doing is now, you see that the bottom part of the ship boat was very dark, right? So I'm just creating that dark impact, and I'm leaving few colors here and there to bleed out to give that impact. We'll just come back to those colors later. Okay, so I have zoomed on the board so that you can see of what I'm creating over there, right? So let's continue, and for your reference you can keep checking that reference image as in what are the shapes that we want to draw, right? So there are two planks in there, then there is a row bar over there, the bench is casting the shadow, there are some threads tied on the rope, there is outside thread also, right? So all those areas that we have to look into. Then you also have to guess as in what is visible to the end user and what is not visible to the end user, right? That lesson, the whole plank is not visible, the whole right side of the boat is not visible, right? So things like that. This is judgment call. Because I just realized that the plank, only thin part of the plank is visible and not everything at the end of the boat, right? So I just covered it completely in the boat color. Now if you see that there are some brown shades to it, right? So we're gonna do that, and at the same time you can also create some shadows around your board. You can make them more darker. So as of now I'm utilizing the dry brushing technique and doing it, but then what you also can do is you can choose the color and then blend it with water. Okay, now let's start by adding the browns on the board so that our board starts looking live. Okay, and then have some effect of different shades and colors here and there. Do some dry brushing techniques to give that old rusty look to the board. Okay, see, you don't have to draw exactly that I am drawing. You can take a call, change the board completely, look for a very simpler board that you want to draw, right? And you can do that. You don't have to draw exact same board that is given in the reference picture. You can change that also if you are very new to the sketching and then the whole concept of watercolors. Don't try. So this is all about relaxing, right? So just don't stress about all those things. Yeah. So now let's just fill the, so basically what is this? This is the inner part of the board, right? That is visible to us because the photographer has taken a picture from that angle that the few inside part of the board is visible. Not completely visible, but some of the part is visible, right? And we can follow the same thing. Also, don't stress about it. So watercolor or any kind of painting or any medium, right? Any art should be a medium to take away your stress. This should never be the reason to give you more stress, right? So if you are not able to create something, don't worry about it. Try it for the second time and you will definitely get it. It's all about trying. Now I can say that very confidently because I've been in that position, and after couple of years, I understood as in what I was not doing correct, and now I'm correcting. Yeah, it's all about practice, consistency. So yeah, do let me know what you else would like to learn, and then I can think about creating videos on that, right? So let me know if you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and then help me out of what you will want to learn from me. You can also check my Instagram page. So I specialize in animal portraits, pet portraits, wildlife. I also do occasionally florals, food illustrations, right? So let me know, check out my profile, and then let me know what else you would like to learn. If you like what you see, subscribe me there as well. And yeah, so happy painting, and I hope that you all have liked this session. I'm almost at the end of it, right? So you see that I'm trying to correct some shadow area over there, right? So there's a lot of shadow of the bar, so the rowing bar, right, that is casting some shadow. Then there are some threads that are casting some shadow, so we just want to align it properly. Yeah. So yeah, so as I'm saying that do let me know of what else you would like to learn. This is only for starters. I am keen to bring you one video every Friday as a tutorial, right, for all of you. So yeah, let me know. And wow, see, few differences here and there, and everything comes alive. This is looking so good. Okay, so there are some shadows of that plank, so that bar that is in the boat, right? It is casting a shadow below it, so we're gonna create that. And yeah, so I think more shadows on the inner part of the boat also there's shadow, right? So all the planks, whatever planks are there, they are all casting some kind of shadow. So there's a lot of shadow that we want to draw in. Some we have already created, but then others that we want to create, right? We want to make some shadows a little dark, and that's it. So very important in any kind of creative painting that you're doing, right? You have to keep in mind couple of things. So your lights, where the light is coming from, your shadows, and your highlights. These three things is what makes your painting alive and lifelike and realistic. It gives it a very realistic look, right? So while we are all doing that, we just want to make sure that we are following that. Okay, now let's just go and I'll do the last bit of the thread, and it's not a straight line, and it's just very vaguey, jumbly kind of a thread, right? So just randomly draw, don't take a lot of load on drawing that thread. Okay, now the last thing that is left for the painting to draw is those threads on the board. I think there are some blue color threads also, and the rowing bar, or maybe it's a stick, I don't know what that is, right? So something. Yay, we are almost at the end of the artwork. Now we're gonna create that stick or row bar or whatever that was, right? And I forgot that we should have actually done this also, like the half part of it also, using wax crayon, but that's okay. I've used white gouache for it, but if you don't have a gouache, then you can use white watercolors. Just make sure that everything on your paper is touch dry, then only use your white watercolor, and that too in a very thick consistency. Okay, so I think that's it. I'm gonna just leave it here, and then you'll still see me doing few corrections here and there, but if you're satisfied with your work, you can call it done. And then once you're done, we are gonna sign the paper and remove all the masking tapes from the paper. Okay, so yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. I just had like a lot of fun, and for some reason I underestimated the amount of time it's gonna take me to edit and then do the voiceover of this tutorial. But yeah, let's see. I think long way I'm gonna learn this and eventually be much faster and more productive. But I hope you did enjoy this lesson. I just love how it has turned out. And then if you can see the sky area, right, it was looking so darker at the starting, and now it's just good, it's subtle, right? So that's it. So just trust your instinct, trust your techniques that you have learned all the way, right? And yeah, it's gonna turn out for the best. Okay, so I'm finally done with all the changes that I wanted to do, and now I am gonna sign my paper. So you can either use your white color, your brush, black color, or you can use a pen to sign your paper. So I just shown you how to sign a paper using a pen. And now, yay! Just remove the masking tape around. See, it gives such a nice and clean border around our artwork once we remove this tape, right? I am so happy. It has just turned out so wonderful. Yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you for watching. Hope you had a nice time. Please do subscribe to my channel. Hit like. Add your review comments. Let me know what you want to see next. And I'm gonna bring back another tutorial for you on next Friday. See ya, ciao, bye bye.